current Cavs roster, would Cleveland be the favorites against Golden State?
You know something? I believe they would be. Because you'd have a Kobe in his prime we're talking about, right?
Yes.
In his prime.
Yes, not this past year.
You'd have a killer on the squad opposite Steph Curry. And that's what we're talking about here. We're not talking about skill sets overall because we know what LeBron brings to the table, 6'9", 250, as formidable as he is, inside or out, whatever the case may be. What we're talking about is an aura. What we're talking about is a mystique, an assassin's-like mentality, a refuse-to-lose kind of persona. Not that Kobe hasn't lost before because he has lost 2 NBA Finals. There's no doubt about that. But let's understand something, that there's a reason we've called LeBron Magic as opposed to Kobe or MJ. And it's not to draw comparisons in terms of skill set. It's a mental approach to the game. If you are Kobe Bryant and you are in your prime and you have Kyrie and Kevin Love and JR and Amon and Channing Frye and all of these other boys, and especially if you just lost to Golden State last year, you're not picking Kobe Bryant to lose twice in a row. We're just not doing it. You tell me I'm wrong, Skip. Twice in a row? I remember when he had to go up against Boston 2 times in 3 years. And the fact that Boston had smoked them in Game 6 of the NBA Finals when they won that game by 39 and Kobe was on the bench crying at TD Bank. That was the reason we had the Lakers as favorites in 2010. Because we said, we can't imagine Kobe losing twice in a row to this team. That's what I'm talking about here. We dissect things from a basketball perspective. We're analyzing what Love and all of these other guys are doing. But if Kobe was on there, all we would be thinking about is Kobe. All right, what's he going to do? Because he ain't having it. That's what I'm saying. That's the difference. Again, we ain't talking skill. We ain't talking ability. We're talking mystique, aura. We're talking about guys having to worry about how this particular individual is going to come at them because he's so fixated on winning in such a way that he literally instills fear in you psychologically. Kobe in his prime? Oh.
Okay, I hear you about aura. I hear you about mystique. I hear you about killer instinct. I hear what you're saying about the Black Mamba would not be denied. I get that. My question is, are you sure Kobe would be a strategic fit with this team in place of LeBron?
No.
Remember, Kobe, high-volume shooter. When he broke through and beat Orlando without Shaq, obviously, he was shooting 27 a game in the finals, 27 times.
I apologize, Skip. I'm not saying a fit for this particular team. I'm saying if you have a team that is considered that comparable to the opponent, where we're talking about a potential 7-game series. And I'm saying the difference is between LeBron and Kobe. What's your attitude going to be?
Yeah, I got it.
That's what I'm saying.
But I do love LeBron, his fit with this team because it orbits around him. It's beautiful to watch. They have found something. That's why I think both of us are saying this is going to go 7. I don't think the team would orbit around a Kobe in his prime because he and Kyrie might have some issues. I don't know who runs the point. Is he the point guard? Would he defer to Kobe, taking 27 shots a game? I don't know about that, but I agree with you. LeBron versus Kobe in intangibles is what you're talking about.
And not only that, I remember when I had to do radio and I had to call the game with Kevin Calabria and PJ Carlissimo in L.A. when the Cavs played the Clippers. They had played the Lakers a few days earlier, and then they stayed in L.A. for a couple of days, and they had to play the Clippers. So I'm at that game. Well, the night before, Kobe was with Kyrie. And Kobe was with Kyrie telling them, look, shoot the damn ball. That's who you are. Be who you are. What I'm saying to you is that the advice that he espouses as a champion and just an elder statesman of the game, well, imagine him in his prime. Again, if your talent level is comparable to the reigning defending champions who just beat you this time last year, and you got a second shot at them, and the difference is Kobe. Lord, let me tell you something right now. It wouldn't just be Steph and Clay doing their thing. They would have to deal with Kobe.
They would.
Because I'm trying to tell you, he would be coming in his prime.
Yep.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord.
Okay, so the bottom line to this discussion, I would love to see LeBron say the same thing to his team. We will not stand for this. This will not happen again, right?
Well, I think that's why it's going 7.
Okay.
Because I think that ultimately it's going to come down to the greatness of Steph Curry being required to save the day.
I'm with you.
I feel like I keep saying this, but we have another great conversation coming up. Speaking of Kobe being known to have that killer instinct, so what does Kobe think? Who has that trait now? We'll hear what he had to say on the topic. Who has that Kobe killer instinct trait now in this game? We'll discuss it next.
Champions as well. If they were not champions, then we could make a debate. But the fact that they're champions, one's universally recognized as the best shooter in the game, not to mention he's a reigning 2-time league MVP. The other is the reigning 3-point shooting champion who feels he's better than the guy universally recognized as the best shooter in the game. As a shooter, he thinks, Klay Thompson thinks he's better than him, has gone about the business of proving that a legitimate argument could be made in regards to that time and time again. 37 points in one quarter, 11 three-pointers in a playoff game 6, 41 points in game 6 against OKC, et cetera, et cetera. Klay Thompson has stepped up in many, many, many big moments and has produced. And so when you look at it from that perspective, and the fact that they're champions, and they just overcame a 3-1 deficit against an elite team in the Oklahoma City Thunder, how can you deny what Kobe Bryant has said? They're marksmen, and they have no conscience. They will shoot at any time, from anywhere. Both have the ultimate green light and wouldn't care if they didn't. They'd still do what they're doing. I think that he's accurate.
I also like, Stephen A., what Kobe said about, at a glance, I'm paraphrasing, but at a glance, they look so nonchalant. They look like just nice guys. And all of a sudden, Kobe goes to stone cold killers. Wow. That was some high praise from the Black Mamba, from Kobe Bean Bryant. Okay. And yet, here's where I have one small bone to pick. I'm not sure that Klay belongs in this conversation with Steph. Maybe not yet. And I get it. He saved their day and their night in Game 6 at Oklahoma City because, as you know, they trailed by 13. And Klay just flat out kept them afloat with no conscience, 3 after 3 after 3, after getting off to a slow start. I get all that. But I'm going to use the numbers that I used to start the show off. These are what are called clutch time numbers. It's the last 5 minutes of a game when the score's within 2 possessions, within 6 points. Steph Curry, through these playoffs, has scored 46 points under those conditions. Klay scored 7. And in that time, clutch time, in these playoffs, Steph Curry is 14 for 23 from the field, 9 of 13 from 3, while Klay is 1 for 10 in clutch time. Now, again, there are stretches of key times, key moments, key stretches, where Klay just goes berserk. He goes that 37-point quarter kind of berserk. Nobody can get hotter than Klay can for a stretch. But when the money's on the line, when the stakes are at their greatest, man, I want the ball in number 30's hands because he's the stone-cold killer to me, the baby-faced assassin.
That may be accurate, but I think that we have to take into consideration that whatever Klay may be lacking, it's because he's deferring to some degree to that guy, Steph Curry. It's a difference between knowing that you're the man. And you may be right because, one of the things that Reggie Miller and others have pointed out is that Klay has the benefit of Steph. Reggie Miller was the number 1 option. Ray Allen, for the vast majority of his career, even though he played with Big Dog and Sam Cassell and all of those, he was the number 1 option as a shooter. And so that's not the case with Klay. Klay has the cushion of Steph Curry being the number 1 option, doing the same thing that he does, meaning being a perimeter shooter. And so because of it, it's a valid argument that only one of them belongs in the same category as a stone-cold killer. But I've seen Klay get hot. Yeah. And I've seen his willingness and ability to bury you, not to mention the fact he usually produces to keep you afloat when Steph is struggling sometimes.
That is correct. No,
And we
they're
can't ignore that
really
either.
good 1-2 punch. They're a great
Yes.
1-2 punch.
Yeah, I
But in
wouldn't
the
mess with
end-
that. I wouldn't mess with it.
Hey, but in the end, Clay is more of a spot-up shooter, and
Yes.
Steph, when it's time, he not only makes shots, but he can make plays that I don't think Clay
Yes.
consistently can make.
Well, Clay is not just a spot-up shooter. He's a catch-and-shoot kind of guy
That's
as
what
well.
I mean. Yeah,
Yes,
catch and
yeah.
shoot. Yep, you got it.
Steph off the dribble. All right, guys, game 1 tonight. We picked the series, but who gets this one at the Oracle? We'll break it down for you when we come back.